Hi guys, and welcome back to the Tried It podcast, where we will be discussing all things from millennial struggles to relationships and love and everything in between. I'm Kedeisha.
I'm Jade.
And I'm Maya.
Woo!
Hey everybody.
Long time.
Not
really. We've been consistent every week.
This week is supposed to be a Tried It pick and mix, but I don't know if you guys know, this month marks Tried It's first birthday. So we're replacing this week's pick and mix with a birthday episode, and pick and mix will be back next week as regular scheduled programming.
I can't believe it's been a year.
I know.
It's been a whole 12 months.
We're all personally 1 year older as well. So we've all had birthdays, and a year flies because it literally feels like New Year's was the other day.
Honestly.
And it feels like just the other day, Maya introduced me to Jade.
Yes.
And we went to her house and we literally started recording.
That day, innit? We did.
So, okay, let's start with the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
So
people are always asking how we met and how we started.
Yeah.
Podcasting is difficult. And it, like, when you have an idea for something, so this is before we even started. So I think we've told the story before on how we met, but Maya basically put out a post. Milena from the receipts reposted it. I followed her, I seen it, and then I DM'd Maya because I also wanted to do a podcast. So I DM'd Maya, we had a conversation. We was like, yep, let's do this. What do you want to sort of speak about?
And can I just say, the conversation was, Kedeisha was like, yeah, I'm interested. And then it was like, you know, you can see time. So say she sent that at like 10:56. A whole 4 minutes later, like 11 a.m, she was like, and I want to do this because, and then she sent like a whole message in true Kedeisha style with like a whole paragraph in between, and it was just so, that's why I fucked with her.
It shows
like, I can
you
see
really
you're
are
on it.
interested.
Yeah,
And when we
because-
spoke, she said that as well. So.
Because I just assumed she's going to get bare DMs because she's got like a bigger following than me. So I just assumed she's going to get bare DMs. And obviously she's just going to overlook an emoji. So I needed to prove myself. I said why I wanted to do it and like the type of vibe that I was on. She was on sort of the same page. And then we was like, okay, do we need some more people? She's like, what were we going to do? And then she carried on searching, and then we found somebody. And then we met up a couple of times. We discussed like about names, and we was doing mind mapping and stuff.
I can't imagine someone else being in my place.
I
You guys
can't.
were cheating on me
I
before.
can't. That's so funny. Literally. So this is all before Jade. So this one was it's like September last year.
Making me feel guilty.
Literally.
Like I'm actually not trying to not look at her.
I know. It is a bit orcs.
Oh my God, it's
Sorry.
fine. You didn't know what greatness was beside you. Do you know what I mean? You haven't found it
Literally.
yet.
But everything literally happens for a reason. It's
Honestly.
so crazy the way that things fall into place, and you just can't, literally, you can't rush greatness.
Yeah.
Like, you have to just take things in your stride and just trust that everything will work out, which it did. Thank God. So where was I? Yeah, so we found that third person, and we even recorded 2 whole episodes on we recorded 2 episodes.
Oh, we did. It was 2. Yeah.
So wait, when we said that we was going to do a podcast, like, what do we need? We needed a mic. And then that third girl had a mic. And I was like, okay, we need a laptop. So I went out and bought a laptop like the next day. Like I'm balling. Literally went out and bought a laptop the next day. I didn't even own a laptop before Tried It podcast. So I bought a laptop, took it to the girl's house. We recorded on her mic, my laptop, in her bedroom, 2 episodes. Excellent. This is all new to all of us. None of us knew how to use the software, the programming, how to export, download, upload. So we came and we was deciding who's going to do what. And I was like, okay, I can learn to edit because obviously I've got the laptop. But
and you wanted to do this proper.
We need to get the file. No, wait, we did it on her laptop first, didn't we? But we needed her to send the file, and it was just such a hassle to send the file. We kept doing it wrong. You have to send it in a particular way, otherwise it's always corrupted. And then like it was just overwhelming for her. So she was like, do you know what, guys? I don't think this is for me. Like I'm too busy for this, and I just can't commit the way you guys need me to. Fair. So although those 2 episodes will go into waste, we just seen it as we've got practice now with speaking into the mic and having a conversation, because we are also still getting to know each other type thing. And then, do you want to pick up the story?
I was about to say,
yeah,
thank
go on.
you. So then I went straight back to my trusty Instagram followers and I was like, still on the hunt, guys. What's everyone saying? Blah, blah, blah. And another girl got in touch. And then this time we met up with a girl as well. And I was like, okay, let's all like link up, blah, blah, blah. And at this point, I think I was approaching it in the wrong way because I was very conscious that like, I really wanted to do this. And I felt like I sort of had to take the responsibility for everyone and for Kedeisha wanting to do it as well. I didn't want to let you down. And I was like, okay, I promised you this podcast. I'm going to make this podcast happen. Even if it damn right kills me. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just looking for someone. I didn't really specify. Do you know what I mean? Because the girl we had before, I felt was very complimentary to what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So it was like trying to fill that is not going to happen basically.
No.
Let's just find any old person off the street. That's literally how I was seeing it. But I didn't really communicate that to Kedeisha. I think she must have thought I was actually still looking for someone that was going to tick all those boxes.
That's exactly what I thought she was doing.
There we go. So I've now got this girl, lovely girl. I think she still listens to the pod. Shout out you. And she was really wanting to do a podcast, but I just felt like the dynamic between the three of us wasn't going to gel.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the connection you have is quite important, do you know what I mean? Like,
completely.
Because it can be something where even if you're not talking about something that's especially like, wow, as long as you have a connection with each other and
you need
how
to just
you
be able to have
like,
a simple conversation off the mic. And I feel like we met in a restaurant and it just didn't feel like comfortable. It didn't feel like home. Not home, but do you know what I mean? You just feel at ease and you feel like the conversation's flowing and you feel like you can actually have a heartfelt conversation, an intellectual conversation. It just felt like we're just meeting with a random person and it just, for me, the vibe was just off.
So then after that, we walked out and it was an Angel and we were by Sainsbury's and I was going to my bike. It was this kind of weather. And then I was like really panicking because I was just like, oh my God, like I could see she weren't on it. That leaves us with no third person now. We're effed. You were really like, not pissed off, but you were just a bit like, you like let down and I could see it. And I was like, oh. And I was like, don't worry, it's going to be fine.
But it wasn't let down with you.
I know.
No,
I interpreted it. I was like, it's my job to make this happen now. I have to do this. So then, and then literally that was, I think we met on a Thursday. On a Saturday, you'd DM'd me
then
on
I'll
Wednesday.
Pick up the story and then we'll go back
there. I DM'd you. No, sorry, you DM'd me on like Monday. Yeah?
Yeah.
We met on Thursday with the other girl. Saturday, I'm linking you.
Yeah.
Go on.
So basically...
This was not expected. This is great.
Yeah, this is going well. So basically, I think like a week before I had contacted my fully stopped talking to my ex because I was in a really bad place with my ex. Like it was just a really toxic like friendship and everything. And finally, that previous week I'd been like crying every single day, just like really down. And finally I was like, right, this is enough. Like leave me alone. I'm done with that. And so obviously I was feeling really like, lost and I was with my ex. I had not spoken to many of my friends. I'd lost contact with a lot of people. So I felt really on my own. I was fully alone. And I felt like a sign from, I don't know, the world just pointed me towards Maya. Like somehow I was talking to a friend and I was like, oh, how is Maya? And then somehow we got talking about something. And then we were like, oh, let's just meet up. Like, let's just go for a catch up. Went for a catch up. And we just got on really well. We're talking about everything and
just a disclaimer, me and Jade were friends back in the day
when
we were like 15 to like 17. And who you were then to who you were when I met you was like, and I was like blown. My mind was blown. I was literally like, okay, Kedeisha, sorry, you go on. Go on. And then I'll tell you that conversation.
And then after I had seen her, I think it was literally like later that night, you were like, look, I've got a podcast and I think you'd just be so great. I think you would really fit into it. And I was so shook. I was so scared because I'm so shy and I just, do you know what I mean, hadn't really been speaking to a lot of friends or anything in recent times.
You'd only linked me that day.
I know. The whole idea of it was so shocking, but I just feel like the universe honestly helped me out so much. And since then, like, where would I have been if it wasn't for this?
So literally after that call, after the movie met up, I called you, I think the next day or message or something straight away. And I was just like, Kedeisha, I found her. I've got her. She's there.
And she literally, like, she sent me a picture of her and your Instagram.
Oh, God.
And she's like, she's half Spanish, she's half French, because she was like, trying to literally sell me she sent me a few other people, but I was just like, no.
It was like Tinder.
Literally, she's like, she's half French, she's half Spanish, she lived in China, she's done this, she's done that, she can speak well, she can do this, she's been to uni, she's done this. And I was like, cool, let's meet her.
And
I couldn't believe it. I was like,
we've done. And then how long was it after that? Like a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then literally.
Then we had a phone call, innit?
Yes, we did. And the turning point was, we were like, we've got the name Tried It. What do you think? You're like, Tried It? I like that. And we were like,
yeah. And the girl before you that we met up with, she was like, I don't really like Tried It. At this point, my heart's already set on it. I'm ready to touch Mike. You're talking about changing the name. No.
Yeah.
I was like this the whole time.
Oh no.
Yeah, so when Jade was just like on board, I was like, this is the girl, honestly. And like literally the day I met you, it wasn't awkward. And this is in your house as well. And I just felt so comfortable. And that was just a sign. And then literally we recorded the first episode. And I think the first episode was like 2 hours long. Because we were just talking
I remember being so nervous
talking.
trying to speak as far away from the mic as I could.
So we only had one microphone that we bought from eBay. It was like £20.
Yeah.
And the one laptop in Jade's bedroom is when the first episode, what's it called?
I think it was the finance one. Like entrepreneurship.
Yeah. What was it called?
Something in a chai
latte.
latte.
Lattes. Wake up and smell the chai latte.
Yeah, wake up and smell the chai latte. Oh, that was and then from then as well, I don't know if you guys have actually paid attention and noticed, but all of our name titles are always witty or mean something, or it's not just, it leaves something to the imagination. It doesn't just literally say what the episode's about. And I think even knowing how to start the first episode, we wanted to start as we mean to go on. So not necessarily meaning that we wanted to do 2-hour episodes. We knew that that could not happen because people are going to switch off. But we just got so carried away with the conversation. But that episode turned out to be really popular. People were really loving it. And the fact that our content was just different at the time, like everybody was literally talking about streets and like living life and relationships and mandem and galdem and blah, blah, blah. And we're here talking about working a 9-to-5 versus doing this. I feel like we came in with purpose and we set our mark for what we wanted to be.
Definitely.
I agree.
100%. And I just remember like in your house when we were going to record our first episode, you were like running up the stairs looking at us like, oh my God, are we seriously going to do this? I think you thought that there was a chance we wouldn't and we would just chat instead of like actually recording
I honestly, in the beginning, I thought like we would prepare, we do the whole thing in practice first, like so we know what we're going to say, we know what points we're bringing up. Almost like planning an essay, like we already rehearsed this, and then we do it. Like, I was so shook.
I think we even put in the bio, we put pilot because we didn't actually know if it was going to keep the episode. We didn't know how well it was going to do. We didn't know if people would receive it well, but it was really good. I went back and listened to it the other day, and it's just
I find it so funny. I remember
so funny. It's so funny, and even the intro is Jade going Maya. It's just so funny.
I remember you were saying something like you got scammed. I was laughing so much.
Let's not relive it. That is hilarious. And I think as well, like when we first put it out, I remember when we first put it out, we were like, obviously you were sharing it on everything instantly. You even put it in your bio. You even said before, I can't wait to put 1/3 of Tried It podcast
in our bio. Literally, I think I did it before the episode even went out.
Yes, you did.
And literally, so and even getting the picture logo was difficult. We were just looking for who to do it, and everything's just obviously. Podcasting is almost like a hobby in the beginning until you get recognized and stuff. It's everything comes out your own pocket.
You don't realise how much goes into it.
A lot goes into it. So we've bought a laptop, we bought a microphone. Traveling from like one side of London to the other costs money, and then we needed to get a logo. We wanted to do that as cost effective as possible, but also we wanted it to look good, and we had a vision for it.
Do you remember that conversation as well? I was on my bike. I clearly remember it. I called her. And she was just being a bit like, before then, like her replies were making me think, okay, you're pissed off. And I called her and I was like, look, I know, look, we're going to get the artwork done. Don't worry, blah, blah. And she was like, you see how you've got your things like that I do? She was like, this is my baby. So I need it to be good. Like I can't have, and I was like, yeah, but this person's going to take £20 more. And she's like, I'll pay that. Like it's not a problem. And then I was just like, okay, then I was like, all right, cool. Like this girl's serious. Like even more pressure.
Literally. But this has literally become like, as soon as we got the artwork, even though like looking back at it now, obviously the quality in comparison to what we have now is just not it. But I was so proud of it. Like it was my laptop background screen. It was my phone screen. If I could have put it on my work desk, I would have. Like I just would put it everywhere and just tell everybody. And like I was so proud. I'm still so proud. Yeah. It even still feels weird
to know people listen.
To know people listen. Like literally. So this is our first birthday, but literally, what was it? Last month, we just found out how many listeners we actually have. And we're like, what is it? Over 20,000 people have listened in a year. That is insane. And we've had listeners from all over the globe. People in Sri Lanka. We went number 1 in Uganda.
Yeah.
It just is mind blowing, honestly. Like, people actually listen, and the stories I'm telling, people are hearing, and
people are resonating with it. Like, people message to be like, "Oh my god, like, thank you for like that episode."
And
we
like,
go places, and people are like, "Oh, I listened to your podcast."
Yes,
and
oh my god,
it's so crazy.
Yes.
And even now as well, obviously we're on YouTube. When I'm telling people, I've got a podcast, it's like, I have to remember as well, and we're on YouTube. Like, I never thought, obviously we're not YouTubers, we're podcasters, but it's another thing to add to the roster that it's just crazy. Like, I'm just a small girl from Leicester, you know what I mean?
I think for me, I remember, like when you sent the intro of the fucking pod, and I was like, oh.
What do you mean, the music?
Yeah. Yes. Oh. And just hearing that first segment, like the intro of that first bit with the music, and then when I was like, oh my, this sounds
even
so good.
Even the girl
I
listened to a lot of podcasts before we started ours. So I sort of had an idea of the vision that how I wanted it to be. And I knew that I wanted to have some sort of music. And I wanted to also have something for in between segments. I'm still thinking about how we can do that.
And I remember you said that, and I was like saying, try it.
Yeah. And I still think that's a good idea.
No.
Yeah. But I was listening to a new podcast today that I've found, and as a breakup segment, they actually say, you're listening to the Tried It podcast. You're listening to the Tried It podcast. Just like that sentence, and it's so effective. We could do one in anyway, I'm talking too much. So the music, because I was like, everything's obviously copyrighted, you can't just use anything, and then finding sound bites and stuff is hard. And there was just a YouTube girl that I knew who also did music, and I've had a few interactions with her before, and I really liked her song, and I thought that a particular part of her song would fit. So I DM'd her and asked permission, because I don't want no one coming for me, because this is already expensive. And then she said, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I was like, yes. So then her name is Diana, and she's formerly known as Tootsie Time. So if you just go on Instagram, her name's Diana, or YouTube, she's Diana. Love her loads. She's in all of our bios on YouTube. At the bottom, it says music link. So just check that out.
And on SoundCloud and everything.
And so I literally cut out the bit that I thought would be good, sent it to the girls, and they were like, yeah, I like it. Because we didn't know what sort of, in the beginning, remember we was like, what sign? And we got like this Indian sounding song. I can't really remember how it went, but that sounded good as well. But it was like, we just wanted something a bit more chill, but still upbeat. It's hard, man, to know, because you're going to stick with it as well.
Listening to you guys, I didn't really have any of that.
Vision?
No, I had a vision, but I didn't think of the little things in that way. For me, it's more the whole picture and getting it out. That's what I was most concerned about. So for me, my moment of like was when I saw it on the Apple Music, and I saw our little logo there, and that's when I was like, cool, this is fine. And then I started thinking creatively, because I'm not a person that can think creatively until I've seen something tangible. Then I'm like, okay, how would you make this better? But I never think, let me make it perfect before putting it out there, because I just know that'll take too much time. I'm just like, let's get it out, then we can make it better.
See, that really got me in the beginning. I think I struggled with thinking that I felt like we were rushing it. It was just going to be out there, like we just start and we just go. And I was thinking, I don't know, I thought it was going to be in a studio from the beginning, and that we were going to, as I said, like rehearse and pre-try like the conversations. Like, so I think that was hard for me to adjust. I was really nervous about it, because obviously I guess I'm so had been conditioned to like, I guess just uni life. Like if you're writing an essay or you're doing anything, a presentation, you're always rehearsing it and everything before. So obviously where it's just so natural and you just have a conversation, it's been a good learning curve for me. It's been good.
I think it's even changed from when we did come to a studio. And obviously now we're more strict with the times. Every episode is up to an hour, because it's costly. And I think an hour is enough and concise. We don't want to bombard you with too much. We want you to stay interested. And as well, I'm so keen on being consistent. Like, there's been a few times where these guys are like, should we take a week off and just promote? And I'm like, no, we can put one out and then still promote. Like, even you guys would have seen that I was in hospital recently and editing, and I was just like, this episode, if it's not going to go out on Thursday, it's still going to go out this week, because we have to be consistent, because consistency is key, and that's how you get places. And in the future, it will all pay off. Like you can't take like weeks off of things. Do you know what I mean? And I just What do you guys think?
I agree, but I think like if it's just 1 week every like few months, every 6 months,
constant conversation in the group chat, by the way.
I mean, 1 week every 6 months. If it's an emergency, I mean, like obviously, if you're in hospital, I would say your health is the top priority. Just get better. Do you know what I mean? And the podcast, obviously, I care about it so much, but we can still promote. I'll just go extra hard with the thing. Get time for everyone to catch up. Like I don't see it as too much of a big deal. Obviously, if it's weeks and weeks and weeks, then it's mad.
I had such anxiety in the hospital bed.
It's your baby. So
Literally.
It's making you feel better by having it out.
Yeah. And I did feel so guilty because it went out a day late. That's just not my fashion. That's just not how I operate. I say I'm going to do it this day. It needs to be this day. So apologies for that it went out late. But thank you for still listening.
Yeah.
How did you find having a break, Maya? If need be.
At first, I was very much on the same vibe as you of like, nope, got to get out there, blah, blah, blah. But now I feel like we have been consistent enough to allow us every now and then. But at the same time, I'm conscious of us becoming lazy. But then the kind of people we are, I don't feel like we would. So I go back and forth. And obviously in a situation that you were in hospital, I do think we could have had a break. But I do understand that you wanted it to go out because it was making you feel better. It was actually going to make you feel worse if we didn't have it out. So that's probably part of it as well. Can we do some highs and lows? And can I go first with a low?
Go on.
Wow.
Low for me, I don't even know if you guys are going to remember this. I cannot remember what the episode was. I think there's a little stink that I think it might be the Christmas episode that we did. It was after your winter warmer. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And I was editing and I was getting so stressed about how to do this editing thing. I think it was the first time I was doing it on my own.
Yeah. This is before we figured out everybody's roles. So we were still in the beginning, we was like, everybody needs to learn how to do everything so that we can always take turns. But that's not how life works. Everybody needs a role. And I think now we've all slotted well into our roles and it just works much better.
Yeah, and just on that as well, like I've been away and Jade's been patterning the Instagram tremendously. Even scored us a like from Wiley, can I just say?
Shout out.
And something like 1,000 views on a video and them things there. So big up. And I said to her, like, carry on. I don't need to be involved in the Insta anymore because literally you're patterning it so well. And I think as well, like the dynamic of people, women especially, it's always like a thing about control. And we're like, even doing something like the podcast, you have to learn to let the control go. And people aren't going to do it your way, but they're going to get it done.
That's a biggie for me. I've learned that over the last year, letting go of control. Because I'm very, not controlling, but I just like
when you care about something.
It all comes from passion, but I understand that it can come across as like very possessive.
The low. So basically I was editing an episode. I can't remember which one it was. I was new to the editing thing and I literally was doing it all on my Mac, on my desktop.
Oh, and it deleted. That
just
one.
get in there. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, literally. So let me paint the scene. It was freezing outside. My boyfriend was downstairs playing FIFA with my brother. I know that's not relevant, but it will be in a minute. I've been putting him off for ages because we wanted to watch something. I think it was The Apprentice. And he was like, come on, let's go. There you go. He's like, come on. And I was like, I'm going to be done by 9. We're going to watch it at the time. I don't need to swing it. And he's like, all right, cool. So he's downstairs playing FIFA. He's come up at like 9:30 knowing something might be gone. And I'm just looking at my computer like that. Because I've deleted it. I'd gone to the point, I didn't even delete it. I'd gone to the point where it says save changes or whatever. I've X'd out of a thing because I'm adding the music. The last touch, I'm adding the music and it says, if you X out now, you won't save changes. Do you want to save changes? And I just pressed cancel on the whole thing. And I literally was like, and he came in right, it was like timing was mad. He came in right at the same time and I was just literally like shaking in my hands and he just went, what's wrong? And he just faced me to him and he just hugged me and he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, I've just deleted all the things I've done. And I'd woke up like a stupid time because these times I had that client that was just far as F and would be asleep when I'd get there. And I'd gone up early and I'd come back. I'd done so much to try and do this. And then I was literally just like, and then I called you and you were asleep because it was like 11. And then she was like, I'm so sorry this has happened. Like she was trying to comfort me and I'm the one who's messed it up.
Because I've been there. I've got so far because sometimes you get so engulfed in it, you're not saving as you go along. And then by the time you think to save, it's like critical. And then things like that happen. It's happened to me a couple of times.
Yeah, so I was just so upset, and then I was just like, I don't know what to say. I couldn't even speak. And then she was like, don't worry, like it can go out on Friday, like it's all right. And I was like, are you sure? And she's like, our first one went out on Friday, so this one. So that's why I think it's a Christmas one, because it was like a year on or some reason, which that's when I felt proper bad. I was like, how could I have done this? That's so terrible. But again, we move. And yeah, that was one of my major lows. And I was just like, and I felt bad about that for like 2 weeks. And then eventually I got over it.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
High?
A high.
Or should we order the lows and then order the highs?
Okay. You go.
Okay. For me, I feel like we all know what my low is going to be. For me, I'm not even going to lie, I can't edit. I was just say that straight up. I can't edit. And I had to try, one time I had to try edit. I can't remember what it was for, but it was like my turn to edit or something. And in the beginning, me and Maya had done it together. I had like saved it as a new thing, and then it was just trash. In the beginning bit, it was especially trash. As throughout the episode, like, it got better, especially towards the end. Like it was good, but with the beginning bit, I did try to change it, but we had already saved it as a new thing, so I couldn't like go back and change it. So I just kind of had to be like, oh well, like it's just the end bit not that bad, but anyway, like,
I remember that.
Oh, this is so bad. And I was in Germany.
Oh god, it was really bad. But I put so much time and effort into it. And for me, with editing, I wasn't looking so much about the way it sounds. I was looking into like, so sometimes we talk about something and then we'll kind of come up on a similar topic again later. So I would kind of like try and edit and bunch it together so that we're talking about the one thing at the same time, and that like cutting out anything that's not relevant and really thinking about what we're saying. Whereas really what I should have been doing was just thinking about how it sounds. Like, are we talking too loud at some point, or you know what I mean? Just things like that.
And it doesn't help that we wasn't using proper mics. Like we're using one mic for about 6 people in a room. Different people speak at different tones and different paces, and just it was difficult back then.
I was like editing like the wrong thing basically, and then I just got into like such a wormhole and like was focusing on things that I shouldn't have been focusing on, and I spent so much time on it, and in the end it was still just trash. So I was like, oh shit. But yeah, that was it. But then now I know that editing's not my role, and that's we sorted it out, and it's good. Like I'm fine with it. Editing's just not for me. Okay.
I don't actually have a particular low. Like there's been times where I've been editing and then it's like deleted and I've just wanted to throw myself over the balcony. But I think for me, the most stressful thing was just the traveling part is just jarring. Like, but I know that it's worth it. No matter where we record, apart from the time it was at my house, that was easy. But no matter where we record, it's going to be far. So I have to just suck it up. But
especially when you're traveling alone, it's like
especially when it's cold, like now, and it's just long. But for me, I think over the last year, I feel like a lot has happened to me in my personal life, and it's been difficult to not portray that on the pod and to just like leave that
outside,
separate. So I think that's it for me mainly. But other than that, I can't really think of a particular low.
Yeah, I feel like now it was only really anything like the beginning, but now we've in
the beginning I got really upset about the time when someone gave us bad feedback.
Oh yeah,
that was a real tap to my heart.
Yeah, same. That one girl, I'll never forget that.
We're not friends anymore, you know.
Good.
Oh, okay. But that is definitely part of it. Big man's thing. That was such a
that's another thing.
A hit to
the
me.
Feedback.
That I was like, how dare you? Like you don't know what everything we've just said. And that's 10% of what goes into a podcast. You don't even know that, and you're trying to tell me. Like I was just like, bye.
Yeah. And just doing it like there's 3 of us, we've all got different opinions, we've all got different views on things, and we've all got different ideas of like we've had a conversation a couple of times about what do we want individually out of the podcast, and it's all different. So
but you know what? I feel like now more and more as we evolve, it's coming a bit like this.
Yeah.
Which I'm really
getting
happy
more
about
in line.
well.
It is. But just like the podcast for me is my only main hobby or thing outside, so I am extremely dedicated to it, and sometimes I can be over passionate when I feel like everyone's not on the same page as me and not taking it as serious as me. So that has been a lesson to me. But I can be like that with anything. It can be something as simple as organising a dinner at someone's house. And I'm like, I said 7:30. Why are you here at 7:38?
Yeah.
Now it's cold. What are we going to do? Like that. So it can be like that. And so it's just taught me to just sort of rein it in. And we all want it to work.
Yeah.
So even if it doesn't happen my way, I know it's going to happen eventually type thing.
Yeah, I'd retweet that. To quote you.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. That's really been hard for me as well. Like, especially with Jade, I've struggled because there's times when I'll be like, okay, can you do that? Like Instagram posts. I'll be like, make sure you do that tonight. And then I just panic that you're not going to do it. And then I do it. I know. That's
and then she does it before, and then I'm like, I feel bad because I'm like, oh shit, like she thought I wasn't going to do it.
Because I should have just, like you said, you could. And that's why me being away this 2 weeks has been so good, because I literally just begrudgingly and shaking hands handed the baton to you, and you're just like, I got this, and I was like, okay, and I didn't even message you to check or like I had to hold back from being like, make sure you, but I didn't, because I was like, no, this is good, like you need to do this. And it's been such a good lesson, and it's just been great, and I'm just so happy we found each other, because each of us brings such something good to it, and it's like it's just great. Highs.
You go first. Go around in the order. Okay, or do you want to go last?
Yeah, go last anytime.
All right, fine. I don't know. I feel like the highs for me, I feel like all the time. I just love coming into the podcast, and just like, if I've had a stressful time in whatever in my life, I feel like I can be quite an anxious person. Like my mind is just always running. But I feel like this just gives me a time where I know that it's going right. I know that it's going well. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're always here every week. We're consistent. And I know that no matter what's going on out there, or the mess that's happening in my life, like, I know that this is going well. And I just love coming here, and just like, whenever we do the pod, I leave feeling like good. I feel like I just love talking about the stuff that we talk about. Yeah. Like, just going into depth about our lives, other people's lives, things that we think about. Like, I just love that shit. So it's like, so yeah, for me, I just feel so good. Like, after we have our conversations, and I love what we stand for and the topics that we talk about. So yeah, I just think we're doing something good, and I just love it.
I agree. I retweet that. And also through the topics that we do talk about, because we pick a different topic to discuss every week, and things that we may have not even thought about discussing before in the past, through the topics that we do speak about that we may have not even thought about talking about in the past, I'm learning like through the topics. Yeah. And I know that if I'm learning, we're helping somebody else learn, which is literally our ethos. Like that's literally, when we decided to do a podcast, it was literally about having conversations that you may not actually talk about in life, but you may think about, and we're shedding light on those things, and then you get to learn things in a almost layman term way, and
we learn together.
And we're literally learning together with you.
And I love how we have so much representation within us. Like, we all represent so many different things. So that I can't see a person not feeling like they can
identify
with at least
us.
one of us. Exactly. And I'm not sure how many other podcasts offer that. So I do feel like that's a huge part of it. And also, sorry as well, when I said earlier about like how I didn't have a vision and stuff, I felt like I spent a lot of time carving out in my head why I wanted a podcast and what I wanted it eventually to be. That's why I lacked on the like little things like the music and this and that.
You thought
because like the reason, like exactly like you said, our ethos, educating people, doing this, have those conversations, even the name Tried It, all these things, that's where I was like, yes. So the other stuff is just like decoration for me. Obviously necessary, but that's why I was like, yeah, you take the music, you do this, you do that, because that's not really my strengths.
And another thing that has been good for me, just learning new skills, like when we having conversations with people, like business meetings. Like, I've never had to have a business meeting before, and learning to edit and learning about uploading and just being more aware of how to use social media for your benefit, and just all of these different things it's just taught me. And being in certain spaces and able to network, like I've never been good at networking. I'm just shy. I don't really know how to put myself out there. So like, even just being around these guys, like Maya is like the queen of that. So I like when I'm not with Maya, I would literally think, what would Maya do? Maya would literally there's been times that I've like been to networking events without Maya, and I've literally just been like, okay, Maya will just go up to that person and probably just say this. So if she can do it, I can do it. What's the worst that can happen? And then like things with Jade, she's so meticulous with things, and I know that I can also be meticulous, but she's like she's on it. Do you know what I mean? So I know that I can sometimes overlook things, but Jade, she's more careful with things and she pays it. So I'm learning from these guys, and then it's just nice to know that we've got listeners. So, and again, when we record, and I love to talk, like I think I've done most of the talking today, and I just feel good when I've left, and I just feel like I'm actually doing something, and because of the things that we do discuss, and it's not just literally random chit chat and wasting our hours each week, I feel like I'm doing my bit.
Yeah.
Which is good.
One of my major highs, I was in the gym. This wasn't long ago. I was just literally, it was a boring Monday or something, and I was just like, I just come back from a client actually, so it was Tuesday, and I was in the gym, it was early morning, and then I look at our emails and it was like, hey girls, love the podcast, listen all the time, blah, 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 a proper email. And at first I was just thinking it was some like, you know, one of the things that we host on, they forever emailing us bullshit. I was just like, ugh. And then I saw it as an actual person, like actually typing what they liked. And they were like, Maya, Kedeisha, Jade. And I was like, and then it was Cheyenne about Gynae Sip and Paint, the event that she invited us to.
Yeah,
but she was the words she wrote touched me so much.
Yeah.
Even though like, you know, she didn't say anything particularly mad. It was just the fact that you know who we are.
And you've
you
taken
listen,
the time to
you rate us enough to email us and then invite us somewhere.
Yeah.
And like I was mind blown.
Yeah.
And then I messaged it. I sent it to my mum.
That's definitely a high.
Literally, I sent it to my mum, sent it to my boyfriend, and I sent it to you guys last. Only the people in the pod. And being like, guys, we've made it. We've made it. And then I finally...
And we've been invited to 2 events outside of that as well. And we went to that Over the Bridge live, and somebody recognised Maya's voice from asking a question. I literally went home feeling like a celebrity.
I did.
Like, it's crazy.
Asked for a photo with us. I was literally like...
I went to dinner on like 2 days ago with my cousins, like to celebrate me coming out of hospital. And
where did you go?
We went to Crepes and Cones.
I know you've been saying you wanted to go.
We went finally. It's literally down the road from my house, and I hadn't been.
We've got to go.
So and the 2 waitresses in there kept like staring at us.
Are you joking?
Like as though they looked at. No, wait. And like they kept looking, and Chanel, my cousin, was like, I feel like I recognise that girl, but I don't know where from. And she keeps looking over, and she was like, maybe she knows you from the podcast. And I was like, like proper blushing almost. And I was like, oh my God, no way, surely not. But it could be because somebody's recognised us before. And then it turns out it wasn't because of that. She was in Croatia. But like just the fact that Chanel even thought that somebody was looking at us because I have a podcast. I often forget, even though I'm always banging on about it, I often forget that I literally put my life out there for hundreds of thousands of people to see and hear.
Thousands of people that have heard us.
Literally. So I don't even contemplate that I could be out and somebody could spot me. It's not actually really happened yet, but it could.
Yeah, there's always a chance.
And when it does, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I feel like for me, I also forget because I like the kind of circles I'm in and the kind of like places I go and events and stuff. A lot of people there do podcasts. So it's rare for me to say podcast and get that shock response. But then when it happens, I'm like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do a podcast, literally.
Same.
And I'm just like, I do a podcast. And then it was like, oh. And then I'm like, come on. And then we do it. And I feel like it's easy because it's just sped up my whole like networking thing because I can literally just be like, I spoke about this on an episode. Listen.
Yeah. Literally, I found myself always referring back to episodes when I'm in conversation with anybody.
Me too, but too much.
Literally.
I'm like, someone's saying something in my head, I'm just thinking, he said this in the podcast, but I'm like, I can't say it again.
Yeah.
So
I know, I do. I always say, I mentioned that in the podcast, episode 18, go back and listen.
literally. I want to get little cards for each episode and we can just hand them out. That's episode 1. Listen to that one.
Oh my gosh. Does anybody have a favourite episode?
One of mine has got to be the Love Island episode. I know, but it was
great.
bloody brilliant.
That was
the bit
great.
when I was like, and you know, he lived with her. Was it bad? And then she was like, yes. I just wish we could have filmed that episode.
Yeah.
That episode was so good. And then she was like, and I was like, I'm moving on today. She was like, yeah, you are. It was
Oh my
so
gosh.
funny.
That was a really good episode.
And I loved it when I said on the Let's Talk Gynae episode at the end, when I was like, when you were like, my shot is Big Sean to my ex or something.
Oh, you was like, Ariana Grande?
Yeah. And then you went, so 2 years ago. And then I was like, and then it just moved on. And then you were like, anyone next? And I was like, happened to Ariana Grande? And oh my God, Jade.
There's been so many of them moments.
Literally, and then outside I asked you again.
Yeah, she did. Did you Google it? Do you know what's happening?
No, but you told me about Janae Aiko and
Okay.
that, so I'm hoping that's cool. Oh my God, you watched Rhythm and Flow?
Loved it.
Oh, finished it. It's
Finished
fucking
it.
amazing.
Yeah, it was great. It was
I'm
great.
watching it
Don't you just
obsessed
love Chance the
version.
Rapper? I
you
really want to
need
be
to
friends
watch it
with him.
all.
I didn't like him at all.
I didn't really know much about his personality
now
like that.
I do
Oh,
like
you mean
him
before the show?
Yeah.
Why?
because I just found him arrogant.
What?
I know. I did.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in love with T.I. after that.
love him.
I've
I
always
like-
liked
Right
T.I.
is
I'm
just
literally like in love.
hilarious.
I've always liked T.I. Even the way he talks.
Literally.
Even from
The way
whatever
he
you like
dresses,
video,
the way he talks.
that was it.
Yeah. When was
So
the last
funny.
time he like made a song on his? He's just known for being this personality now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even remember his last song.
Literally,
It's a big
but I
thing
think he
between
does
him
have
and
new
his
songs
woman
now.
as well.
What?
Don't even take the piss out of me.
Oh, I
The
saw
one-
him post on Instagram
What do you
something the
mean?
other day.
They've had like they have a big thing in the public eye, don't they? They have a whole show.
Yeah,
don't they?
yeah. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
T.I. and Tiny, yeah.
Oh my God. And what is the situation? He cheats on a bear or something?
Yeah, he was cheating on her and then she kicked him out of the house and then he was living separate. I don't know where they currently stand. I think they're probably back together.
Yeah, I don't know, people were parring her and he was like, don't par my wife. Like,
Yeah. People are always coming for her because
It's deep, man.
of like the way she looks and she's got a really high pitched voice and she did like an eye surgery to change the colour of her eyes to like
shit.
grey or something like that.
Who's the one that also has a really high pitched voice? And Kazim showed me the video, the interview of her on Breakfast Club, and he's like, "You're not going to believe this is how she talks." And she's like,
I think that we shouldn't really do that.
I don't know who that is.
I'm going to post it on the Insta because it is just hilarious.
I don't know if you guys are going to know who this is, but you know PewDiePie, his wife, Marzia, her voice.
That's who I'm talking about.
Oh, I didn't think that you would know. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, her voice drives
she
me
black?
nuts. No.
Oh, then it's not her.
Oh.
But I think her name begins with M. That's why I was like, oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
no,
I
I
don't
can't
know who
stand
that
the
is.
weird
Can't
high
think.
pitched voice.
What were your favourite episodes?
So one of my favourite episodes is the first Tried It Pick and Mix that we did. That was really good because literally
I didn't
the
do so
fun
well
thing
on that.
about those
Oh,
episodes
that
is
wasn't not funny. That was funny how you were getting upset. Because I always come up with some
Yeah, my bit was so dead next to you guys' ones, but I got better at it.
it's fun because like we don't know what each other's going to talk about,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I literally love like
That gives me anxiety.
this is the one time that I love not knowing. Like normally in life, I'm
Yeah.
so like I need to know this,
That's
I need to know
me. I
that,
need to
but then
prepare.
in these conversations, I love like the things that
Yeah,
these guys
that
come out
naturally
with,
come out,
and I
yeah.
love like the fact that they don't know what I'm going to say as well. So yeah, next week's going to be fun. So that was a good episode, and I also I really enjoyed having the one with the boys and having like the different his and her perspective.
Oh,
that episode,
yeah, that was funny.
I think we need to definitely do another one like that. Obviously with different guys, because I think when we I've noticed that when it's the three of us, there's a dynamic. And then when we have like a female guest, there's a dynamic. But when we have like male guests on, like the episode with Darwood, that was so like Dope Black Dad episode, that was really good.
Even the finance episode.
Yeah, even the finance episode. And it's not that we're necessarily talking about boy, girl, man, woman type things. Like the episode was about finance and being a dad, but just the dynamic of female perspective versus male perspective, I think it's really good and we feed off each other's energy. So
And the variation for our listeners, they're used to hearing our voices. All
yeah,
the
it's
time,
true.
all
It's
high
true.
pitched
It's
and
true.
that.
And I
nice
think there was
bringing
one
another
point where we
personality.
was overdoing it with guests, and I was like, guys,
Yeah, I
we
remember
need
that,
to rein it in, and like this is our podcast, not theirs. And that's just again me being very possessive, but like
No, but it's true.
Yeah, it's good to
yeah.
just like, you know, like reflect sometimes.
And you know what? I've heard that a lot from people that they, like listeners, they always say that they enjoy it when it's just us because it's like a chat with us.
Yeah.
And when just having someone new, you're like,
it's a bit like
I
an
don't
interview,
really-
isn't
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Faith?
Oh, I mean, one that stands out for me is, I don't know why, the masculinity one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why I really love that episode. I just found it really interesting and just like stuff that I really hadn't, like
That was-
usually
yeah.
I
It was
a
prepare
good
a
episode.
lot
Yeah.
before, but I just felt it was something that really like resonated with me. I was just like, wow, this is really interesting, really made
Yeah.
me think. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I just love, every time we do an episode, I think, oh, that's my favourite. And then we do another one, I'm like, that's my favourite. And then we do another one.
I think you have said it a few times.
I know. I honestly, I think it's
You
just
say it every
because-
week, Jade.
Literally. I feel like it's because like sometimes it's the content of what we're talking about. Sometimes I think like, oh, this is such a juicy topic. Sometimes I think like, oh, the stats or facts that we brought was really like informative. Sometimes it's the connection that we had that day, like it was really funny. Or sometimes, you know what I mean? I just feel like there's so many different things that can make it a good episode, and it ranges. It can be so different from one episode to the other that like, I don't know. Yeah, I have so many different favorites.
We've learned a lot over the last year, basically.
Like a constant evolution.
Yeah, and I feel like we're only going to get better.
Yeah.
It feels like we're just starting to get into the swing of things, and it's a year later. But like I said, we're over 20,000 listeners from like all over the globe, which is absolutely insane. I really can't believe that.
We'll have a few more from Laguna Beach soon.
Yeah, because Maya's just come back. And I'm just looking forward to what the future holds. We're obviously looking to start doing events and just getting more out there, and just more people knowing of our name, and just collaborating more with other podcasters, and just, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Something else as well that I've loved, and what I loved most was your reaction to it, us getting on YouTube.
Oh,
do you know what's funny?
How excited you get? 'Cause it makes me like 10 times more
That was
excited.
incredible.
When we first started recording, the feedback that I was getting from my people was like, "Are you on YouTube? Are you on YouTube?" And I'm like,
right.
"No, we're not on YouTube," because obviously at the time that they're asking this, we was like recording in our houses. I was just coming like in from work. I would look scruffy, but obviously when you're listening, you can't see us. So I'm just like, and then how are we going to even do it? And then we're going to need to get a camera. That's just, I'm already spending a lot of money. And I'm just like, what? You're asking too much from me. Just listen to the damn episode. You know what I look like.
Imagine that and listen.
Yeah, literally. So then obviously when we started getting a bit more comfortable on the mic, and then when we moved to the studio, and then I'd actually seen other podcasters recording it, and then I could actually envision us looking like that. I started to come around to the idea. So then one day when Maya mentioned it, I was like, okay, I just started thinking about it. Let's try it and I'll see how it looks. And then literally we just recorded one episode. It was supposed to be a practice.
It was the one with Victoria from Freedom for Girls.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do.
And I watched it back and I was like, I love it. It needs to go up. Put it up now. Like, do it now.
Right now.
And then literally when it went onto YouTube, I literally did like a victory dance in my living room. And I don't even know why, because it had 0 views at the time. But I was just so excited because like...
And she messaged me, she was like, you zoomed in, you're clever sod.
Yeah, like just the way that it was edited and Maya zoomed into like certain parts, and it just felt like we're like something, we're somebody, we're on YouTube, more people going to see us. And like it just felt like another achievement and accomplishment, and I was very excited.
Oh,
I loved it as well.
Oh.
It was good.
So happy birthday to Tried
happy
It.
birthday,
And
Tried It.
cheers to
Us.
should have bought flipping champagne. Cheers to the future and more birthdays to come.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be crazy because this next year is obviously gonna fly, and we're gonna listen back to this episode and be like laughing about how silly these things are because of all the other things that we've achieved.
And just a massive, massive well done to us, honestly. Every single week.
I feel like this is the speech, you know, I think it was Snoop Dogg. He was like, I just want to thank myself.
Yes.
Without me, I couldn't have done this. Like,
literally.
I'm like, that's our speech.
Literally. And you
Every
guys,
week, it's
thank
not
you
hard,
to you
bro.
guys.
Yeah.
Thank you to all the guests that's come on.
Thank you to the audience for listening.
Thank you to everyone that's listening and
people that
giving
give
your feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone that's actually subscribed and liked and commented, because it helps get us recognized. Because when we first started putting our things out, you literally have to type in our whole entire name and then scroll to find us. And obviously the more people that like and subscribe and comment, now you type in just like tried and we come up, and that makes a big difference to us, and it helps us. So keep doing that for us. And I'm gonna round up, but I'm just so excited. And what about you guys? Are you excited?
Oh my
Of
goodness.
course.
I can barely contain it. I just need to pee. That's why I've crossed my
Okay, right. Let's round up.
I've got
So
my shout out
shout-outs.
ready. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go.
Okay. I would like to shout out Josh. Now, we have a bit of a history with Josh. He's a person who was going to come on our podcast.
He let us down.
Oh, right.
On the day of the dating episode 1. And he let us down on the day. And I was furious. These two, I don't even want to talk
I
about
understand it.
Oh my God.
I can't lie.
I didn't. I just thought.
I'm still not over it.
Yeah.
I'm very forgiving.
But-
Too forgiving.
Okay.
I forgive you, Josh.
My shout out. I was really pissed off at that. But humans are humans. We get it. Josh, you have consistently listened to every single episode from when we first came out. You don't always tell me, but then when I do chat to you, you're like, oh yeah, and I just love it. And you sent me a really long voice note while I was in California. It took me like a day or two to listen. And you said, I might even try and add it to this, but that's a bit too far. But you basically said you love the podcast. There's a few you listen to, and like out of all the podcasts you listen to based on content and everything, you would say ours is definitely one of the best. And it meant so much. And he's even got his missus listening to it.
Oh,
I know.
The thing is,
and he's like, so that's another subscriber.
I was so pissed off that he let us down, but I am aware that from the beginning he always did give us feedback, and I do know that he listens. So eventually I'll get over the letdown, but I do appreciate that.
Maybe
Thank
you can
Josh.
send us something for our birthday.
Maybe.
Yeah, consistent support is honestly like the maddest thing. Like, honestly, when people say that they always listen, I have a friend. And like, even because some of my old friends, like, I'm not gonna lie, they don't listen. Like, some of my family don't listen, and I'm not someone that like I feel betrayed if you don't listen. Even though like if it was my friend, like I would listen, but like I don't feel like any type of way about the fact that, you know, my friends or family might not listen, and I'm not going to look too much into it. But I just love the fact that I have some newer friends that I have met who, like, since I've known them and since I've told them, like, they've listened to every single one, and like, I just love that. I just find that so sweet. Shout out Spencer, because you've been really like listening to it when all these other friends I've had for ages haven't. So it just means a lot.
It means a lot.
Thank you.
It does. Yeah, you go. Oh, wait, no, but that's not my shout out. Sorry, my shout out. Even though I was shout. Okay, I got distracted. Shout out, Rhythm and Flow. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it so much.
I'm so happy you're both on it. That was a quick,
I couldn't stop watching it. I was waiting for the episodes to come.
Same.
Do you
I was
think it's 'cause
upset
we
it
watched
came out
Rap
weekly.
Game?
Maybe.
Yes. Probably, yeah.
I feel like this was, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this was a bit better than the UK
Yeah,
one.
but their budget
even
is
though-
disgustingly
Thank you.
higher.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you got
Obviously,
three
I love
TI
my
this,
UK.
that, and whatever. Just
Yeah.
crept and co, bless them.
I
And they did
know.
really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, no, they did.
They won an
did.
award for it, so well done to them.
Exactly.
I'm happy for them.
These shout outs are getting out of control.
But yeah, I just loved it so much. And I just think it's so funny.